And now, drum roll please, begin. Given more speeches quickly than anybody I think I've known of other than myself.
Right.
Congratulations on that. She is a fantastic speaker, and I want you to all get ready. Her speech title is, Why Leaders Don't Do PowerPoint. The purpose is to motivate and inspire you. There are recipes that professional speakers use to motivate their audience or leaders to inspire their employees. Every recipe has a core ingredient, but what might give a special flavor is that secret ingredient, like Colonel's chicken or McDonald's special sauce. Tonight, Beverly is going to share with you a special ingredient for a motivation and inspiration. Please help me welcome Beverly.
Tonight, I'd like to ask each of you to come with me on a journey. The only thing you need is your imagination and your willingness to be open. Close your eyes. Get yourself centered in a peaceful place. Imagine that you're at a gathering to celebrate your life. Maybe your 80th birthday. Who would you like to be there? What would you like for them to say about your relationships, about what you stand for? Open your eyes. Whatever your answers to those questions, live that. Begin with the end in mind. Madam Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, and welcome guests. Real leaders don't do PowerPoint. The scene that I just took you through comes from Stephen Covey. Many of you will know him. He wrote the 7 Habits of Highly Effective Leaders. And what he essentially is saying there is he wants you to begin with end in mind. Whatever you want people to say about you, live that, be that. Real Leaders Don't Do PowerPoint is a book, and it's by Christopher Wick. Christopher has a formula for how you might motivate people. The first part of Christopher's formula and the book says, have you ever heard somebody really give a wonderful speech? The best one you've ever heard? Did you leave there saying, wow, she killed that PowerPoint? Even when you watch the PowerPoint master, Steve Jobs, is what we say about him is, damn, he can put a picture up there. That's not what we really say. And so the first ingredient to this recipe is to make sure that you, as the leader, are the message. Your character, your reputation, that needs to be the message. Okay? Be what you want, be the change or whatever great things you want to see in the world. That's the Mahatma Gandhi statement. But you might not know the story behind that, so I'm going to tell you that a little bit, of that. Hundreds of people waiting to see Gandhi. Lady with her small child. She waits for hours, she gets up and she says to him, hey, I need you to talk to my son about eating too much sugar. So Gandhi thinks about it and he says, come back in 2 weeks. 2 weeks go by, she comes back, She waits again for hours. She gets up there and Gandhi tells her son about not eating sugar, and she says to Gandhi, well, wait a minute. Now, why didn't you do that the first time I was here? And he said, when you ask your question, I too was eating sugar. And I couldn't teach or talk to your son about it until I'd stopped and had the journey myself. Be the change that you want to see in the world. The second thing that you want to do to motivate people is actually to challenge them. So I do a lot of coaching in my job as an HR professional. And one of the things I do is ask questions. And I ask questions, people say, oh, I can't do that. And I say, if you could, what would that look like? They'll say, oh, I have this excuse or that excuse as to why something can't be done. And I say, if you didn't have that excuse, what would that solution look like? I've got 101 coaching questions that I have in my repertoire, and I actually, Cole, as the queen of handouts, brought you a handout with 101 of those questions that I will give you following the speech. The third thing you want to do is tell stories. That's the third part of the recipe, because stories are the leader's powerful tool for motivation. So I want to tell you a brief story. There's an author. She's British. She is on welfare. She's just gotten a divorce, and in 1994, she had a 3-year-old that she could barely feed. When she was out shopping her book, she didn't have a computer nor money for photocopying, so she typed manually the 90,000 word manuscript for each person that she submitted the book to. After dozens of rejections, a small company in London took her book on because the CEO's 8-year-old daughter fell in love with it. Her name is J.K. Rowling, and her books are Harry Potter. There are 2 authors who are husband and wife, and they were broken, be lived in a trailer, had to borrow clothes for their wedding from other people and turn off the telephone because it was just too expensive. They had a nail on the wall where they would put all their rejections, their papers. Got so many on there, the nail fell off, they had to put a big stake in the wall. They kept writing. His name is Stephen King. His first book was Carrie, the one that got accepted, and even then, it only sold 13,000 hard copies. It wasn't until they bought the rights to the paperback that he then got half of $400,000. Stories about success. In order to be the change that I like to see, and in order to tell you a story, and in order to challenge myself, I'm going to end with some things that are going to stretch me. I have a friend who happens to be Caucasian, and I was watching Louis Farrakhan, and he said to me, you shouldn't watch Farrakhan, don't you know he's racist? And I didn't say anything. What I wanted to say to him was, I'm tired of other people trying to choose my heroes. For all your schools and your prisons, you have not done what the Nation of Islam has done. I have never seen so many articulate, well-spoken, educated black men in one place. Do you understand that Farrakhan feeds his own, has his own stores? There's a lot of good there, and I'm intelligent enough to choose it for myself. I also have not been very happy lately, because what I need to know is, why can't Beyonce talk about the Black Panthers if that's what she wants to do? If policemen can shoot black kids in the street and have them lay there for 4 hours while I watch you walk past, if that's okay, surely it's okay for her to raise her hand in a Black Power salute if that's what she was even doing. And do you even know anything? I thought about the Black Panthers because Bobby Seale had a food program too. It wasn't just about defending themselves, even though that's a lot of what it's talked about. And then I'm really disappointed, because I want to know why I can't see The Cosby Show. But Charlie Sheen can run all kinds of reruns of his show. And I want to be able to talk about it. And if you don't like it, I don't like the fact that in a country where we're supposed to be free and I'm supposed to be able to talk about and feel about what I want to feel about, that I'm made to be somewhat ashamed of some of the things. So I wanted to speak out. I wanted to tell people that I don't know why the hell Cam Newton can't say something to a bunch of reporters. When Peyton Manning lost the Super Bowl, he took his butt to the back and didn't shake anybody's hand. And none of you know because the media didn't talk about it. But everything that Cam does wasn't right. How many tweets did I have to see with the word nigger in it before somebody said, that's enough? And so I wanted to leave you with a point that I think is so appropriate. It says, and it's by Martin Niemöller, and it's about the World War II. And it says they came for the socialists. So first they came for the socialists, and I did nothing because I wasn't a socialist. And then they came for the trade unionists, and I'm not a trade unionist, so I didn't do anything. And then they came for the Jews, and again, I'm not a Jew, so I didn't do anything. And then when they came for me, there was no one left to speak. And even more powerful for me, Dr. King said, it is not the bitter words of our enemies that we will remember, but the silence of our friends. So I want to challenge you to speak up, speak out, to have something to say about what's wrong in America. And fellow Toastmasters and welcome guests, I invite each of you into that journey, into our world, where we support one another, where we do the right thing, and where we allow one another the freedom to talk about what we need to talk about. Thank you.